You know when you promise yourself that you're going to change your life for the better and really stop doing shitty things to negatively affect your physical health or mental health? Well, I did that, and I promised myself and a lot of you that I probably wouldn't continue making content on Onision. But here we all are, so the moral of the story is don't make resolutions. He's actually getting sued, and this time it seems pretty serious, so I want to go through and talk about exactly what's happening and my opinion, and this is gonna get ugly. Kind of like me, because I've been sick for a week and I thought, you know, if I just keep waiting to make this video, eventually I'll feel better, my face won't be as puffy and I won't look as exhausted, but here we are, and it didn't get better. If I just maybe overexpose this video enough, you won't notice. I look great. Controversial former YouTube star. Ouch. That former though. We all know the story. I don't need to go into it. I've made enough videos on it. A lot of people have made enough videos on it. We're not gonna get into the details of that situation, but he is being sued by Regina in the state of Florida. Now, not only is she going after him, she's also suing YouTube and Google itself. Disgraced former YouTube star Onision has been accused of using his popular YouTube channel to recruit, solicit, and groom underage children into, I don't know what I'm gonna get flagged for. Wednesday's case is the first known legal action to be taken against the YouTuber following several allegations of abuse and grooming in 2019. Onision, 37, also known as Greg or James Jackson, did not reply to Rolling Stone's request for comment. I'm shocked. So Regina is saying that Jackson and his spouse Lucas? So Kai is now Lucas. I think that the idea that Lucas and Gregory James Jackson, whoever these people are, I don't even know anymore, whatever name they're going by today, whatever flavor of the week it is, I think some of this is like, if I change my name enough, it will get lost in the algorithm, and if people search for me, they won't find Greg if everyone's looking for James Jackson or whatever, you know what I mean? If you switch it up enough, maybe it's confusing to people and they don't find out about what you, if he ever goes for a job one day, I don't know. This is just a guess. The biggest claim they have is that they got actual naked photos from her when she was still underage, which is definitely super illegal. She claims the relationship caused her serious physical and psychological harm. I just feel so bad. I feel so bad. The longer people like this are out there, the more damage they can cause. Now, I don't want to force anybody to have to relive their trauma and say something when they're not comfortable, but if they reach a place like Regina has where she wants to do this, hell yes, power to you. And I also kind of love that she's not just going after, Onision and a spouse. I don't even know what name to use at this point. She's going after YouTube and Google, which, if I'm being honest, I don't really see panning out to be super successful, just because I've seen several people attempt this type of thing before, and YouTube and Google, they have power lawyers, and I'm sure endless amounts of money that they've partially made from Onision. So unfortunately for her, I don't think that will work, especially since YouTube won't even ban his channel. They clearly don't care enough. They demonetized him finally after the whole documentary that Chris Hansen was a part of on Discovery Plus, but that's it. That's what it took. It had to be a documentary with Chris Hansen for YouTube to be okay, I guess we'll take off the ads, but we'll leave him on the platform so we can still sort of benefit. I see YouTube ban people all the time for much lesser offenses, abusing the copyright system, for example, which is something Onision's done. So if they can't get him for alleged things that are being said, then they could get him for that. Because he's not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop his online presence. He's made videos before saying I'm leaving social media for whatever reason, X amount of time, and it never actually lasts. He's always right back. Right now, he's been doing a lot of Twitter stuff, which, let's talk about his Twitter. OnlyFans model, musician, and author. So, I have an issue with him saying OnlyFans model just because, first of all, if you have an Instagram account, right? Let's just tone it down. If you have an Instagram account and you post photos on Instagram, that's just a person with an Instagram account. You can't be I'm an Instagram model unless that's your full-time thing, what you are known for. You're massively successful and that is your career, right? Not a part of your larger social media career, but that's it. I am an Instagram model. A lot of people say that, but it's just always been a pet peeve of mine. So unless he's massively successful on OnlyFans, which, good lord. And I already know that's not his primary thing, right? Because obviously he was formerly formerly a popular YouTuber. It's just strange to label yourself as like a model. But I'm gonna move past that. Musician, right? So he did post some music on Twitter recently, his potato song. It's really good.
I love potatoes.
I mean, like, honestly, the title of musician is deserved at this point.
I can put ketchup on them.
I'm surprised, like, lyrical genius is not also in his description, because, like, it should be. And author. I mean, I'm not gonna go into it, but there have been tons and tons of people who made videos about his literary choices. I'll just leave it at that. But if I move past his description of himself, which was amazing, he also has equally profound tweets, like this one. MILF. I mean, I guess there are people who are 13 that have had kids. Speaking of dating young, why would you date a 20-year-old who is in their prime to produce children for you? Why not date a 45-year-old who has an overwhelming chance of producing massive birth defects? You know, because people only date to reproduce. I miss when YouTube comedy surprised and shocked me. Now it's just a bunch of boring dildos. Boring dildos. I don't know why, but I'm getting the vibe. He's jealous of dildos because he probably can't satisfy a woman, not even close to the way a dildo can, so don't take it out on the sex toys. They don't deserve it. And speaking of sex toys, you guys should check out, I mean, like, I have to mention it, right? At this point, you should go to adamandeve.com and use my name, Jaclyn, as a code at checkout to get 50% off any one item and free shipping. I did recently do an unboxing. They sent me like a literal sex machine. Like, I've never in my life thought that I would have something like that, but now I'm a proud owner of a sex machine. So if you guys want to see that video, it's worth it. Check out the link in my description and watch the video. Go to Adam and Eve, use my code, get that discount, and I apologize if YouTube has become a bunch of boring dildos, but I think it's far more exciting than anything that has to do with you. So I apologize for the rest of this video that will now be about the rest of this Onision stuff, which, Jesus Christ, I can't believe we're here again. And by again, yes, I mean again, because how many times has the topic of Onision and getting sued been brought up on the internet? Like, he tried to sue so many different people, myself included. I wonder if he'll do that again. I even made a joke video like 3 years ago about me suing him. You know, I actually probably could. All the things he said about me, man, it's bad. But back to this current present day lawsuit, which I really hope has some success. So the rest of this article sort of gives a history of Onision and things that he's done. It talks about his spouse that's now on their like 10th name. Ugh, I sound so sick. The end of this article says, YouTube partners such as Onision acted with impunity, and even worse, YouTube contributed to and profited from the enticement, grooming, and exploitation of children while promoting known predator and YouTube partner Onision. YouTube could have prevented all of this harm, but it inexplicably racked up revenue and provided a sanctuary for Onision to lure, identify, and recruit vulnerable children for grooming and ultimately exploitation. I mean, that's true, and that's the problem. Like, YouTube came out with a statement when it decided to demonetize Onision. It was a pretty powerful statement, but it was lacking the real punishment that he needed. Like, you're still allowing him that platform to continue to find future victims. Actually, here's what the statement said. We are also concerned about continued allegations of off-platform behavior related to child safety that could cause significant harm to the community, violating our creator responsibility guidelines within our YouTube partner program policies. These guidelines explain that we don't allow egregious behavior that has a large negative impact on the community. Therefore, we've determined that your channels, Onision, Onision Speaks, and Uh-Oh Bro, will be indefinitely suspended from the YouTube partner program and no longer eligible to monetize. Like, if you truly think that he has had egregious behavior that has a large negative impact on the community, specifically I'm quoting, off-platform behavior related to child safety that could cause significant harm, why? Why then is the answer, we're not gonna let him monetize it, but we're gonna let him keep doing it? That's fucking weird, man. Like, that is a huge fail on YouTube's part. And even worse than that, I made a video on this about a year ago where I talk about how not only did they allow him to stay on the platform, they were allowing him to directly target children because he was marking that his videos were made for kids, and therefore it was showing up on the YouTube Kids app. Like, they were able to click on videos like his, I think it was like a silly duck song or something, and then obviously that would lead them to his channel. Mind blown, right? Not only did they not ban him, they allowed to directly advertise himself to kids. Like, So the actual lawsuit that's being filed, there's a document, I will link it below. I'll also link Repsion's video that he made because he goes through it in much further detail than I'm going to here. But the very beginning of that says, this lawsuit will reveal how Google's partnership program through the YouTube platform enabled, facilitated, and profit shared in the identification and grooming of vulnerable children by two adult predators known as Onision and Laney. Defendant James Jackson, aka Onision, is a predator who, when faced with the allegations raised against him, began a series of attacks against the victims online in an effort to intimidate and threaten his victims into silence. Defendant Lucas Jackson, aka Laney-Bot Laney or Kai, is married to James Jackson, aka Onision, Jesus Christ, all these names, and used new fame as Onision's spouse to lure and entice underage children to engage in sexual acts and exchange child sexual abuse material images with her online. Oof.
Specifically, Onision appealed to minor females like plaintiff who were young, vulnerable, and questioning their self-image and identity and were seeking answers and guidance.
This part creeps me out a little bit. I, by no means, was a minor when I started watching Onision, but I was, like, very early 20s, like 21, 22, when I started watching his videos, and they were very influential on me. Like, I looked up to those videos because he talked a lot about being a vegetarian and animal rights and certain things in politics or religion that I identified with. And at that time in my life, I don't know how much you guys know about my life, but I was in a very, very vulnerable state, coming out of a pretty serious relationship. I was in medical school, I dropped out, I had severe depression, and in an effort to change my life for the better instead of the alternative, I dropped everything, got out of the relationship, left school, moved to LA because I so happened to have this YouTube channel that I started that was like starting to get views, which was totally random. But I was very heavily inspired by Onision to the point, and it's cringe, if you go back to my first video I ever made, titled my first YouTube video or something like that, I name drop Onision as someone who inspired me.
YouTube has actually affected me a lot. I subscribed to a lot of people whenever I started off that I felt gave good messages, and they changed me. I would say one would be Onision. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He actually tried to probably push people's buttons a little bit. He wanted to make those strong statements. A lot of videos about being a vegetarian, but I will talk about serious issues like that. I will talk about current events and different things that I believe in, you know, that I strongly advocate, and I'll probably, you know, talk about a lot of my personal experiences, and sometimes I'll even ask for advice because, you know, everybody has their problems.
And at that time in my life, I mean, I consider, at least and now in my decrepit old age, I consider like 21, 22 pretty freaking young. And I also was at a vulnerable time in my life, and I was influenced by Onision. Obviously not in any kind of way. I didn't know him at that time, but you know, I can see how that could happen, especially when someone is going through something or they're like impressionable or naive, and it just makes me really cringe to see this, saying that he appealed to young, vulnerable people questioning their self-identity or image. They were seeking answers and guidance. Like, that was me to a T at that time in my life. Clearly, when I actually, unfortunately, worked with Onision and met him, at that time I was much older and able to hold my own. But it just makes me feel for girls who haven't gotten to that point in their life yet when they do interact with him. It's just scary. It's scary how people, like certain types of people, can lure you in and have that impact on you. These people know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they don't care. I don't want to diagnose anybody, but it's scary to me. It's very scary, and there are a lot of people like that out in the world. And I just, man, I hope people have like a good network of family and friends that can help them get out of these situations, because if they don't, it's just so easy. It's so easy to get sucked in. You have to be like smart with this stuff, and sometimes, unfortunately, being smart only comes with experience, and being experienced comes with sometimes getting hurt. So I'm just gonna play Repsion's clips because I can't stand to keep reading this stuff of like how it's being described in the lawsuit, the actual things that he did that are disturbing. And also, what's the new name? Logan? Laney, Logan, Kai? Is it Logan? Lucas. I was close. Lucas.
Onision would engage in threesome sex acts with other girls and use Laney as bait to lure them in. Onision demanded a threesome and say that he will not allow Laney to have sex with other girls unless he participates. That is so crazy. I do remember that somewhere online. He said this someplace. I don't remember. God, that's crazy. Regina had just turned 17. Dating. Here we go. Here's the old tweets. Dating Regina. Now it's official. In other news, I'm totally sending Regina nudes. Come get this good. Oh, so cringe. Lainey offered to pay all of Regina's travel expenses. Lainey intended to lure, entice, and recruit, solicit Regina into their home so she could join in sexual activity with Regina and have threesome acts with Onision and Lane together. This is a lot. Oh my god. I remember this tweet. This tweet right here. Like, I have a meal for you. Like, holy shit, dude. For real?
Oh, the meal comment though. Like I said, I will link his video below. I highly encourage you to watch it, and he deserves it. Like, he's been covering this, I feel like, before anybody else has, and he's done such deep dives on both of them. So props to Repsion for staying on top of it and bringing awareness. And like, the thing is, I know that there's a lot of people out there that complain at the volume of content made on Onision, the volume of content, response videos and all these different things. But like, yes, on one hand, I see the argument that it's like giving him attention, but at the same time, the more important thing to focus on is bringing awareness to anybody who could potentially fall victim to him again. Since YouTube is clearly not deleting his channel, he still has a reach. He still has, if you look at his videos, I mean, they could just all be bots that he's made to comment nice things. There are still nice comments that he gets, and like, good lord, he's got a fucking OnlyFans. So like, there are people out there that like him, that could definitely fall victim to him. So in my opinion, the more people that talk about it, the more publicity this type of thing gets, the better. And I mean, God, for how many years do people have to stomp their feet and give attention to this before YouTube actually like does what they should have done a long time ago?
Here we go. This is significant. I'm not going to read that.
Oh, I'll read it. Okay, I'll leave out the P word, but outside of that, I'm reading it. They're talking about what constitutes a federal crime in this situation, and it says, knowingly possesses or knowingly accesses with intent to view any material that contains an image of child that has been mailed or shipped or transported using any means, blah, blah, blah. Then if you go to the bottom, including by computer, which, phones. Like, if they can't get them for anything, like, come on. What is the legal system doing if you can't even get that? That is like 100% proven. There's no arguing it. So, I can't. It's so disturbing. So, Regina is going after him for $150,000. After all the, like, tax evasion stuff and things that he's done, does he have that much money? I don't know. And, I hate this so much. Because I know that they have kids. They've got 2 kids, I think. That need their parents to provide for them, and not just financially, like a stable, healthy environment. Like, I worry. I truly worry. I cannot imagine. Oh, it breaks my heart. It really does. Ugh. But the point does still stand. I don't think he has that kind of money. So please leave a comment and let me know, do you think he'll truly be held accountable, or will this be yet another fail in the books of the Onision saga and people actually trying to bring him to justice? My fingers are crossed. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Comments really do help, so I appreciate it when people do that. Thank you also for all of the likes. That helps a lot in the algorithm. YouTube's not a huge fan of me. But if you still do want to support me, you can do so on Patreon, patreon.com/Jaclyn, or check out my merch, ffvmerch.com. Give me that back. This is new, long sleeve shirt, super comfy, just dropped. It is modeled after my beautiful cat, Tippy. She is a princess. Can't believe she's like 13 years old. What? Also, I totally restocked all of my Devil Wine Kitty sweatshirts. I know I've been out of stock for a long ass time, so I'm sorry about that. They're back. And of course, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you have not already. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!